Hi, Ben here, and welcome back to another Work in Progress Wednesday. It's been a week of deliveries. We had a fresh batch of Buffy hats arrive, which went pretty fast, so thanks for all your support on those. But whenever you get a big brown box that's got Swedish writing on it, it's always kind of exciting. So we had a fresh delivery of Gränsfors axes arrive, which we've gone through, and in most of the axes in this batch was the carving axes. So I thought it was a good time to sort of explain a little bit about the carving axes. We often have people ask questions on the carving axes because they do actual 3 different grinds on these axes now. They didn't used to when they first came out, but now they put 3 grinds on there, and it can be a little bit confusing, especially if you go to the Gränsfors website. You can read all the words and it doesn't really make a great deal of sense. So we thought we'd talk through the different grinds on each axe and which one will be the most relevant for what you need. So the actual carving axe itself, I've got my old original one here. It was designed by Willy Skundsvist, a Swedish carver. Unfortunately, Willy's passed away now, but he's left behind this fantastic book which has got all those Swedish carving techniques in. And I was very lucky to actually meet Willy and actually do a carving course with him. I didn't actually get the opportunity to carve spoons with Willy, but I did get the opportunity to carve traditional Swedish dough bowls. So I did this when I was about 20 years old, so probably getting on for 19 years ago. So it's a bit dirty, a bit shop soiled, and it's travelled around the country showing people how to make sort of Swedish dough bowls. This was a big hunk of poplar. And when you're making big projects like this, having the right axe is the key to it, really. So yeah, that's my big Swedish dough bowl. So Willy developed this axe with Gränsfors, obviously with his requirements of what he needed, whether it was for carving spoons like this, or whether it was for carving Swedish woodenware like the dough bowls. And when they first came out, they were very much forged and then ground with basically a symmetrical grind on there. And after a few conversations with Willy, he wanted it to be more handed so that it was a more aggressive carver. So now what they actually do is they actually do forge the heads slightly differently, and then they will grind them either with what they call a right side grind or a left side grind, or what they call a symmetrical grind, which we've got on this one. So if you're looking for a very aggressive axe that's going to be perfect for green woodworking, for making dough bowls, things like that, where you're going to be removing a lot of material, and you are right-handed, then you want to pick the right-hand grind. So effectively, if you think of it as a terms of a sort of almost side axe, the left-hand side of the axe, the side that is closest to the piece of wood that you're working on, if you're right-handed, is almost flat. It's got a very, very sort of long, flat bevel to it. And then the side that is on the outside of the wood has got a more convex grind to it, or bevel to it. And what that does is it means that the axe will bury itself into the wood fibres very aggressively, and it will create relatively straight lines. So like I say, for dough bowls where you're removing a lot of heavy material, it will prevent the axe from glancing off, and it will make a very sort of aggressive axe and help you remove lots of stock relatively easily. Now what I would say is, if you're thinking that you mostly want to be doing spoon carving where you're cutting in and following these curves, you might find that this is almost a bit too aggressive. So you might not want the right side grind or the right-handed ground axe, but you might want the old original symmetrical grind, which has got the same shape bevel on both sides. So it's got a pretty much even convex grind like on a conventional axe, but obviously you've still got this lovely sweeping curve to the cutting edge, and obviously the nice shaped handle, so that you can choke the axe up close to the head, so you can get lots of control when you're doing the finer cuts on your spoon. But also you've got this lovely sweeping curve that when you start to use it, it will work like a guillotine and remove lots of material really efficiently. So if you're a right-handed person and you're going to be doing spoon carving, I'd probably say the symmetrical grind is a really great carving axe to get. If you're a right-handed person and you want to use it for primarily green woodworking, a bit of spoon carving and some bigger projects, then I'd probably choose the right-hand grind. And obviously if you're a left-handed person, you want to choose the left-hand grind. Now the left-hand grind is identical to the right-hand grind, but obviously the mirror image of it. So the side that you're holding in your left hand closest to the wood is almost flat, and then the side that's on the opposite side, on the outside of the wood that you're working on, has got that nice rounded convex grind. Now if you want to do a bit of sort of timber framing and you want to prepare sort of woodenware like beams and things like that, and you want to do hewing, then there's nothing to stop you using the left-hand grind as a right-handed person, so that you can work with the grain on the correct side of the beam. But that's kind of a bit specialised, to be honest. So think of it as, if you're a left-handed person, go for the left-hand grind. If you're a right-hand person, go for the right-hand grind, and hopefully you won't get too confused on it. But like I say, if you've got any questions, you can always drop us a line. Now these Gränsfors axes all come razor sharp, ready to go. Some of them have got this new linseed oil coating on the actual heads themselves, so they might be a little bit sticky to start with, but it is a more eco-friendly oil finish that they're putting on the heads. Obviously they all come with a nice leather case, and they come with the axe book, which is always a good read as well, that shows you how the axes are made, and then your 20-year guarantee card that you've got in the back of the book as well. So yeah, that's what we've been sort of doing so far this Wednesday. We've been going through the axes, checking that they're all in good condition, and if any of the edges have got a little bit damaged when they've got transported to us from Sweden, then we can make sure that they're going to be perfectly honed and razor sharp, ready for when you receive them. So if you're looking for a perfect Christmas gift for an avid carver, then you can't go wrong really with a carving axe from Gränsfors. And if they haven't already got Villy's book, then I would certainly suggest getting that. There's lots of good tips and obviously patterns that you can follow in there as well. So hope that explains a little bit on the axes. Hope you enjoy seeing what we're doing each Wednesday in the workshop, and we'll see you next time.